Back at it, obviously disappointed with the loss last week. You know, started way too slow to give ourselves an opportunity against an opponent like Oklahoma to win that game. You can't spot a team like that 21 points and expect to win. Was really proud of our guys' mental toughness and resiliency in regards to just fighting back into the game. To be down 24-19 in the fourth quarter and have 2 possessions to give ourselves an opportunity to maybe go ahead there late was really hard to even believe, to be quite honest. And so, you know, we got to be a lot better, and that's coaches, that's players, all of us. I told the team after the game, we got to look in the mirror, and you know, a man in our program, we define that as someone that's accountable for their actions. Well, that includes me. So it starts with me. I looked in the mirror and figured out what I could do maybe better to serve our team and help our players develop, and maybe our team get better. We got a real test this week, the in-state game. Always good to play in-state opponents, and a lot of familiarity. A lot of our staff's coached against Louisiana Lafayette the last 2 years. They've been really good. They're really big. They're really physical. They're really athletic. They got 3 great running backs. Going on the road will not be easy over there. They've had a really good run at going to bowl games for a bunch of years in a row now. And so the success they've had is impressive, and it'll be a great test and a great challenge for us. So with that, we'll open up to questions.
Coming off 2 big time opponents, obviously on the schedule at least.
Yeah.
Is this game as much about your mindset as anything out of your team being prepared mentally for a game like this?
You know, they kind of all are. You know, I mean, I think like Kansas State let that one get away the way we did. I was probably really worried about the mindset getting ready for the next one. You know, picking yourself up off of a crushing loss, just the way it went down. I think they're always about mindset. I think in college football, I think every game's about your mindset. You know, I think we're dealing with young men who are learning to become grown men, and I think that your mental approach to everything matters. And so the mindset of this game is critical. You know, they're coming off of a bye week. We're battle tested, pretty rugged the last few weeks, and that's good. And that's got some bumps and bruises, but we've played really good competition. So we just have to be prepared to play. You know, I talked to our team about there's three things it takes to win a game. You have to be focused on what you're doing. You have to have the right amount of passion and emotion to play the game the right way. And you have to be mentally tough. And so all 3 of those components matter. Are you focused on doing your job? Are you passionate about doing your job? Are you mentally tough with the ebbs and flows of the game? And we've got to be prepared because this is a really good team. This team's got talent. You look at them across the board. In 22, when we played against them, I walked down the field pregame, I was like, all right, who are we playing today? Like, these guys don't look like a Sunbelt team. They just didn't. They had big dudes, especially in the front. They still do. And so we've got to be really ready for the physical battle because they're really good physically.
I know it's a cliche, the close only counts in horseshoe and hand grenades, but how do you balance the emotion of being 1 score in the fourth quarter of 2 top 25 teams, knowing that you are right there, possibly winning game, but also balancing the fact that you're only 3 games into a season with a new team and you are right there with 2 top 25 teams?
No, look, I told our team Monday we met to kind of recap the last game and get into the next game. And I say this all the time, but like, losing's not okay. Anybody that tells you it is, they're a loser, and get away from them. Like, it's not okay. And so I'm not a big believer in like a moral victory. That doesn't fly with me. But I also did remind them, hey, I think one of the opponents in the last 2 weeks was 13th in the country now, or maybe 15th, or the other one is, I don't know. And I told them, guys, you were right there in position to win both games in the fourth quarter as a team. But I could pull up 20 plays where Tulane beat Tulane. We didn't have to have the other opponent beat us. And so if we'll just eliminate the, you know, procedure penalties where we don't line up with a receiver on the line of scrimmage, or just the silly little things like that come up, then we'll probably start to get the outcomes we want over time. And, but the margins are not that big. You can't continually make simple errors that cost yourself as a team. And so there's some encouragement there, and like, hey, we're close. it's closest to what we're hunting, you know, and, but there is some signs of, like, we have a shot here. We just have to fix some things and recalibrate some things and make sure you guys understand how to do things maybe a little bit more efficiently and cleaner.
In that game in 2022, Ben Woldridge was very effective,
Yeah.
not only through the air but also on the ground. Looking at film of him now, like, how have you seen him grow over these last few years?
Yeah, he has got a really big arm. He can make all the throws. I mean, he makes 15-yard out, sail throws, and puts it on the money. He's a big-time thrower. He's a good runner. He's probably a better runner than he gets credit for. So he can make plays with his feet, extend plays with his feet. So he's got good athletic ability. He's a smart player. You can tell he's well-versed in their system. You know, they've been running the same offense now. Looks like since really when Billy was there, now Dez, and so the offensive structure is still very similar, and he's been there for the last 3 years in that system, and so I think he really understands where they want to go with the ball. I mean, anytime you've been in a system for 3 years, there's going to be a lot of confidence in how to operate, and so he's efficient. He distributes the ball really well. They run the ball well and they take great shots off of it. They're similar to us. I kind of like, I watch their offense and I feel like I'm watching our offense a little bit. But he's a good player. In 22, he made his pay early in the game. I mean, he had our number for quite a bit in that game, and he's a good football player.
Coach, going to your own quarterback, 4 turnovers over the last 2 games, but the way those games kind of played out, how are you gauging Mentor's performance and how do you feel he is mentally right now?
Yeah. You know, the positives have been really obvious and the negatives have too. You know, there's, I can think of a bunch of big time throws and plays he's made through 3 games. There's been 3 or 4 really costly errors. Couple of them good plays by the opponent, couple of them just, you know, playing better in his own right, knowing maybe when the play's over or when to not force something in there. He's flashed some high level stuff. He's also shown his youth at times, and you know, I think last week was an interesting week for him because we weren't just going on the road in an SEC environment. We were doing it against, I think, what is a really quality defensive team. And so your first road start, 83,000 fans, whatever were there, against a high caliber defense. I mean, that defense has got some really good players on it. They're extremely well coached. I think Brent does a great job on defense. His defensive staff's top notch, and so they present some issues structurally and with their players and with the crowd noise and the environment. So he was thrown into the fire a little bit. Like, you know, I was probably more nervous for him going to that game than I was for his first start at home against Southeastern, because it's like, this is a different beast he's going against. And so I think he's done some really good things. He's got to grow quickly. You know, the maturation process is not friendly or kind in this game. You have to grow fast, and I think he will. He's got a short memory on negative things. He's able to bounce back positively. He's got a great demeanor in practice. I think other guys gravitate towards how he carries himself, and I think he'll respond well to where he's going and where he needs to go next.
Right, and furthering it, of course, you knew kind of what you were signing up for, making redshirt freshman your starting quarterback. The way his demeanor has been through the adversity the last 2 games, how much does that increase your confidence in him?
Yeah, look, we knew no matter who the starter was, it could be a new starter here, right? Like, Michael Pratt's not walking through the door. So either way, it's going to be a new starter. You've got a new starter who's a youngster. I mean, he's played 3 college football games now. All right, so and that's not making an excuse for him, but that it is what it is. And so I think the best thing about him is he's hard on himself. He got frustrated on himself some Saturday. I mean, he was down on himself a little, but he's got a quick bounce back. I mean, he's got a positive outlook. His demeanor's the right way. I grabbed him once on Saturday after a negative play, and I kind of felt his frustration and dejection maybe with a play or 2 he'd had, and I said, hey, you have no control over what's already happened. Move on. Like, that's gone. It's in the past. And so, but I'm proud of what he's done. Is there stuff to clean up? Yes, plenty of it. But I like the direction he's headed, and I like what he's about, and I think the guys believe in him because of how he practices and how he prepares and how he invests in the process of being ready to go.
Can you talk about Bailey, and the impression that you've had of Bailey since being on campus and just his impact on the defense?
Man, he is awesome. He, I'll tell you this: we do awards. I don't announce them each week publicly, but we do a offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game, special teams player of the game. Then we do a job taker award each week, which is a look team guy for all three phases. We don't call it scout team award, we call it a job taker award, because those guys are going to take somebody's job if they keep working the way they are. We also do a service award for somebody that has been active in community service for the week, each week, and then we do a spirit award, and we name a spirit award for Devin Walker. It's the Devin Walker Spirit Award. We give it out every week in our team meeting. And Slim, as he's done around here, he got that award last week because after the targeting, where he had to miss the rest of the first half and all the second half, and his demeanor and energy and emotion and positivity on the sideline, and Kevin Adams, a young player who came in his absence, seeing Slim positively impact the guy that's coming in for him, and how he's engaging with his teammates. They wear the GPS devices on the underneath their pads. Slim played a quarter and a half roughly on Saturday. He had 7,000 yards, which is a lot. Like, that's like playing in a game. Just showed you he was on the sideline running around, cheering his teammates on. That's who he is. He's got great work ethic. He's from Karen Crow, so this is kind of like going home for him. I went by Karen Crow High School in January, and I think if he wants to, he could probably be the mayor over there one day. Everybody loves him. I mean, he's just a phenomenal guy. He has a great attitude. He's one of those guys, just being around him makes you better, and he's a great teammate.
We talked about this with Southeastern, but just having those in-state games and guys being able to go against people that they played with, people that they played against. I mean, just how important is that even in the fabric of college football?
Yeah, I love it. Schedules are done so far in advance. Like the schedule we're playing the next 3 or 4 years, I've had zero control or say in. I think the model here really should be, let's go play a P4, P2, an SEC team every year. Let's play a in-state FCS team, Southeastern, Nichols, Northwestern State, Grambling, Southern, whoever. And then let's play 2 that are, geographic, historical, maybe game matchups like a Southern Miss, a Louisiana Lafayette, a La Tech's not a bad one. Like, in-state's great. I think in-state games are great. I'd like to play everybody in the state. I think that's best for college football. I think it's best for the state of Louisiana. I think it's the right thing for our game. I think it helps promote Louisiana football. And so there's a lot of guys that know each other. Looking on their roster, like, I feel like a lot of these guys, I coached against them 3 years ago, but I think these matchups are good for our state and good for our programs, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't play a schedule that's got that kind of matchup.
Coach, going back to the defensive side, we know going into the season you were joking about where the offense scored 35 and then now maybe 30, but the ability to bounce back after giving up 21 and then even helping you to score and shrink the gap down to 5, how do you like the resiliency the defense is showing?
Yeah, it's a new group. We've got 4 returning starters from last year's team right now. There's 7 guys starting. 6 of them weren't here when I took the job. There's 6 guys starting on defense that hadn't thought about being at Tulane until after I got here. And so that's takes time to find cohesion and to really understand how we play together. And hey, if I leverage the football on my left shoulder for a reason, because there's somebody in there to help me make the play. And those little things, those details, the communication part. I think the most understated thing on defense that great defenses do is they communicate pre-snap at a ridiculously high level. That was something I saw last week. Oklahoma, I was blown away with their pre-snap. I watch the other team and I evaluate what they're doing against us, and I'm watching their DBs and linebackers communicate pre-snap. I'm like, these guys are pros at how they're playing the game. And we're growing there. We're not there yet. We're going to get better. Like, I can promise you, we'll get better on defense as the year goes. That'll happen. And, but it is a process. It doesn't just come together overnight. I think the response to the second half gives you reason for optimism that, you know, that there's some good players on the other side. That number 6 last week, that receiver, is a real guy. Like, there's some guys that are going to challenge you and stress you. And I thought our guys, maybe with their back against the wall a little bit, down significantly in that game, bowed their neck and made a decision to keep fighting and finish the game. Yeah.
Jacob Barnes' status and what happened to Shoddy in the game?
Yeah, so Shoddy's got an injury. I'm not going to discuss exactly what it is, but he's likely out for the week. Not final there, but I would say he's doubtful at best. And then Jacob's deal, he had a little bit of a lingering hip thing, kicked with it, Kansas State game, made the 2 field goals he made in that game with it. Didn't impact him in the week so much last week. Pre-game warm-ups felt it a little. And then on the kick he attempted, he had plenty of distance on it. It was just a little bit, it was right, obviously. I would say he's questionable. It doesn't look like it's going to be some all-year type of situation. I don't know today. Today is our big field goal day of practice, early in practice. He didn't participate. Head took most of those kicks today. Not all, but most of them. So we'll kind of wait and see, and I think we'll know more later today on Jacob's availability. Good.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all being here.